All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Let me know you can hear me. It is Friday, August 16th. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. It's been a decent week. No complaints out of that at all. True, Vince, true. Good stuff. Uh, all right, well, we got a nice little gap up here going this morning. I waited to send the morning right up until after 9. I was hoping we'd get some extra expirations there for the 11 o'clock time frame, which we did. And we'll see if that ends up working out. I did that in the morning right up there and just put it out there, trading it really, really small here. It's Friday. So far on the week, we didn't have any trades yesterday in Nadex there. But so far on the week, 4 for 4 on the Nadex trades here this week. And I'm not going to let some, end of day Friday kind of action, put too much of a dent into those profits for the week. So trading that super, super, super small, just to have the position on here this morning. I do like it. But again, it is Friday. Typically Fridays are a day where I'm a little bit more relaxed, not trying to press anything, not trying to go into the weekend with big losses and all of that. So good morning prayer, good morning elite. So coming into today, Forex factory calendar here, there is nothing on the board. You guys can see there's some stuff at 10 a.m. here. Whatever this stuff is, I don't really think it's going to be too much to be concerned about here. We did have some 8:30 stuff there. Out of CAD and out of the US, but again, just orange and yellow stuff there. Nothing in red for these markets today. And pretty much what we're looking at right now is we've got S&Ps up here 0.75%, NASDAQ up 0.92, Russell up 0.83, and the Dow up 0.72. Something that I talked about in the morning right up there that I think is important is yesterday, kind of towards the 2 o'clock time frame here, the Russell came down and actually was able to get new lows right in through here. That's under this morning low that got set, at about 6 something yesterday morning. So we came down, we cracked through those lows. That was the only market to be able to do so. And it's yet the only market to not really be able to get through the opening prints from yesterday. I mean, the S&P's highs yesterday were right around 57s, NASDAQ's right around 31s, the Dow's up around 620, which the Dow is 100 points higher from that level now. And the Russell here is pretty much just kind of gapping, right back up into yesterday's range. So typically this type of, failure to go lower, breaking the low type of pattern reversal, you'll see a little bit more reaction off that, which we're not getting yet this morning here out of the Russell. We're getting it out of the rest of the markets, but Russell here is still relatively the weakest in terms of price structure. Now, all those percentage changes I just told you are shifting here quite a bit. S&P's just dropped about 6 points there for some reason. But nonetheless, what I'm looking at here for today in the S&Ps, we've got some levels coming in. Again, we were range bound yesterday, stuck between this 55 quarter and the 29 quarters here. And realistically, if we stick between that level, all day yesterday, I'm fine with letting that happen, doing its own thing, which is exactly what I did. And then coming into today, I'm not necessarily going to have a forecast or a bias in terms of what I'm looking to see. I'm going to trade what the chart gives me and what it's telling me it wants to do as it unfolds. The levels I'm going to be watching for today are 28.82 50s, 28.55 quarters, and then potentially all the way up into 29.21s. That 29.21s is the least likely thing that I see happening on the day unless we get some type of tweet or some type of news announcement, whatever that comes out. But those are extremely sporadic and have no idea when or if that's going to come out. So not necessarily something that you can play for. But what I am willing to do here is rallies up into 28.82 50s here today. If we get a reaction to the downside off those, we're showing signs of weakness, not wanting to go through that level, then I think we can fade from there back down into 28.55 quarters. If we rally up and we're testing those 28.8250s here, showing signs that we want to push through, we're kind of consolidating, at those levels, going sideways, then I think we can look at long opportunities, with confirmation closes above that 8250 level, and that would give us targets essentially up to 29.21s. Now, again, I mentioned in the write-up, that's a super extended target up there that I don't necessarily think is going to get hit today. My exact words were that would be a bit of a stretch today. So most likely a smart move to trail pivots up over 8250s if you're able to capture a long from there. And what I mean by trailing pivots is just let the market pull back on a 5-minute chart, rally up, and just continue to trail those pivots as it notches up all along the way. If it doesn't get all the way to 29.21s, yeah, you're going to give back some profits on a trail stop, but you're also going to be locking in profits as you go. And who knows? We might stall out at 2900, we might stall out at 2910, or we might even get all the way up to 29.21s here. And we'll see if that even is going to be a realistic scenario here. S&P's got about 15 points worth of work to put in before we get back up to 28.8250s. And so far in the overnight session, we traded a high of 28.7850s. So we were a couple points away from that level in the overnight session so far. And then just sold off about 14, 15 points there from that level. But we were basing kind of up there right around 78, 76s for quite a while this morning before we broke down. If we open here somewhere around 28.67s, this isn't something that I drew up in the morning write-up here, and we get pullbacks to 28.55 quarters, then I think from there we could actually potentially look at, on a first test of 28.55 quarters, I think from there we can actually potentially look at longs off 55 quarters, and first targets on that would be opening print, second targets would end up at 82.50s, and then if the market does want to break through 82.50s, then I think we're good up to those 21 or 29.21s. So we were gapping, we were pushing like 72s or so when I put the write-up out here. We're now 67s and change here, so we're down a little bit further. And we'll see kind of where this opening print wants to open, or where it's actually going to open at. But again, first test 82.50s, small reactions to the downside I think are good. First test of 55 quarters there, I think small reactions to the upside are good as well. The only thing that changes that is if we trade 28.8250s first, and then we have sold off back down into 28.55 quarters on the day. If we go from 82.50s to 55 quarters first, then I'm not looking at longs off of 55 quarters because the way in which we got to 55 quarters after having traded the resistance most likely is an indication that we're going to break through 55 quarters and potentially work our way kind of back down in towards maybe even 41s, 42s in here or so. Again, we'll see if that wants to be the case today or not. All right. Moving over, taking a look at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ's got a clear breakout level, which again was the same level from yesterday here, 75.2850s. We're currently printing 75.56s here this morning. Overnight highs there got to 7,600.75. Overnight lows 75.0250. So we got about a 100-point overnight range so far in the NASDAQ here. And we're not quite up to this opens from yesterday, which was 76.0775s here. So I'll look to see if those can trade. The biggest problem here with the NASDAQ is it is leading the pack today. Right now it's up 0.8% here on the day. So it's kind of outperforming any of the other markets. But price structure wise, it's closer to these 75.28s than it is kind of up towards 76.0775s. It was able to get relatively close to that level, 7,600.75, so like 7 points away. So we got a 100-point range. We got 7 points from a target. Is that close enough? Maybe. We'll see today if it wants to trade. But again, same game plan here. First test on a pullback, 75, 28, 50s. I think we can look at long opportunities off that. If that breaks, no more longs. Same thing with 55 quarters in the S&Ps. If we break 28, 50s to the downside this morning, no more longs on the day. We're most likely not going to be going, we're most likely not going higher up to those targets today if those levels break. Same thing here for 75, 28, 50s there in the NASDAQ. The one takeaway here from the NASDAQ with yesterday's action is we were able to hold closes above this 74, 63, 50s, and then actually ended up retesting it again here on this bar right there. You guys can see a 1430 bar came down, traded 61 quarters there, held the 63.50s, held closes above 63.50s as well, and just stayed contained inside of this zone for the better part of the day. The other takeaway here from yesterday's action, which I don't know if it's necessarily too helpful for us. We're kind of putting together a little bit of pieces of the puzzle here this morning, but we have the Dow working its way back up towards, these 25,860s here. We've got overnight highs here, 25,840s, but the Dow is the only market to actually get new highs into the end of the day. None of the other markets were able to do that. S&Ps came back up like 2 points away. NASDAQ came up about 15, 20 points away. Russell, of course, was not even close, like over 10 points away. And the Dow here ended up, coming up and popping up to those new highs there. So I don't know if that's going to be, kind of a big thing here or not. The Dow did actually end up trading through this low down here of 25,392s yesterday as well. If you're looking at that on the hourly chart, you can see here in the S&Ps, we were able to hold that again. NASDAQ, we were able to hold that for sure. And in the Russell, we have broken through that and actually broke through that yesterday on Wednesday, and then just continued to sell off from there. So there's some overall like bigger picture things kind of happening here where Dow keeps trying to break down and then rallying back. Russell is for sure breaking through these levels, but the S&Ps and NASDAQ, at least at the moment, are trying to hold those levels. We're still very much in this kind of trend change potential environment here where the weekly chart and the daily chart are kind of battling it out at the moment. And that is going to need it to resolve itself one direction or another here. Again, those 2775s are still down below for the S&Ps. Same thing in the NASDAQ. Those lows down at like 7180s or whatever they were from that overnight action are still down there, have not traded just yet. And if the Russell and the Dow are kind of early indications that we want to kind of break down through these lows from last Monday, Tuesday, then the markets, potentially the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, are going to be following what it is that the Russell and the Dow are showing in and around those levels. Considering the Russell already broke, the Dow's tested it twice now, managed to get rallies back, but the Russell is not even close to being able to do that. So I'm going to be taking it easy here at the morning, letting the markets show me what they want to do here. Highs on the day for the S&P, 7850s, lows of 4950s. We've got some pretty decent range coming into today, and just going to look to see if 55 quarters or 8250s can trade here today. I did put on a small Nadex position there for the 10 a.m.s and the 11 a.m. expirations for a pop up to 8250s if that does want to trade. Otherwise here, I'll let the market prove to me what it's looking to do on the day and then trade that action accordingly. So thank you guys so much. It's been a really good week here, nice and slow and methodical with the trades that we've put on so far. Haven't been too excited, haven't been too aggressive on things. We've got some volatility. We're managing this trend change area really, really well. And just most importantly, staying out of trouble here with the action that we're seeing. So thank you guys so much for coming on and hanging out. It was a great week. Looking forward to next week here as well. We got some more news announcements coming up, and the markets should potentially break this trend change kind of area here going into next week, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So thank you guys again so much for coming on. If you want to join me in the MLT Discord, there's a link in the description below. You guys can click on that, and I will be in there trading live this morning for the first hour to hour and a half, as well as you guys get access to Perry and all of the other MLT team members in there as well. So thank you guys so much. If I don't see you, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys back here on Monday. Take care.